What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome to episode 4 of The Revival with Gamba Osaka in the Japanese 2nd Division. Hopefully you guys are good. Since the last episode, a number of league games to tell you guys about, a few transfers. Going to keep you guys up to date with what's going on in the squad. So, without further ado, let's get straight into the fixtures. So, since the last game, which of course was the Guangzhou game, that we lost 4-5 on the night and 7-4 aggregate, there's been a number of league games to tell you guys about. In fact, there's been, I want to say, 10 in total, but there's actually been 9. But no, just to kick things off, just a little bit of an apology for last episode. I know that episode wasn't my best episode. I watched it back and I was kind of like, oh, Jack, you cringe bag. What am I on about? You know, guys, if you watch the episode, you'll know what I meant. It didn't work, the commentary. But maybe you guys just enjoyed me going a little bit crazy, as FM tends to do that to people. But anyway, getting into the results, as you can see here, first result of our little sequence was a good, well, I say good, it was an okay bounce back. This kind of early spell after the knockout stage of the Champions League and getting knocked out was iffy, if I'm honest. But we did kick things off with a draw, which was good to get the point. Johnny getting Man of the Match award. In truth, we should have won this game. We dominated it with ease, but 1-1, still not a bad point, I suppose, at the end of the day. In a game that was pretty 50-50, however, I do feel as if we edged it and probably deserved the win. But it's kind of not what you deserve, it's what you get. Anyway, luckily on the back of this, we got a 4-1 away win against Kiru Cyclone FC, which was a good win. They're not the biggest club by any means, but we did dominate the game from start to finish. Osami getting man of the match with 2 goals as well. Takai and Paulinho also getting on the score sheet. 2 goals in the first half and 2 goals in the second half, and the game was always in our control, so that was a good win. On the back of this, another 1-1 draw away this time against Usunmia Valentia. What a name. I'm assuming that's their name. We're just going to go with it. But this result, 1-1, we actually took the lead in this one and gave it away, which was a little bit disappointing. But looking at the stats, you can see we dominated in terms of the ball in our half and their half. And just everywhere on the field, we were just a little bit more dominant. However, we couldn't turn that dominance into real scoring chances. And that kind of shows in the fact we only had 2 shots on target. Fortunately for us, we did bounce back, and this was the first time we'd kept a clean sheet in a few games. So it was good to get this one. A good 5-0 win against the Blaze was a quality result. Osami and Escudero getting on the score sheet as well, which was good to see. So, I mean, this was all very good and top performances. We needed a 5-0 really at this point. We hadn't scored a ton of goals in our last few. We'd been struggling to keep clean sheets, and I wanted to get this kind of result just to settle us and hopefully get us back into the groove of things, because it had been a bit iffy, you know. In the previous 5 games, we'd mustered 2 wins, 2 draws and a loss, and so there was kind of that nagging doubt in my mind that we needed to set the record straight, and I really thought this was going to be the game to do it. We got 3 goals in the first half, took our foot off the pedal a little in the second half, however, it didn't really matter. Great first goal there after 5 minutes. But so far so good. Obviously the expectations this season are to win the league. At the moment we've built up a nice healthy gap in the kind of previous window. The transfer window is still open, and I'm kind of, there's nowhere that I want to improve, but I am looking at maybe bringing in 1 or 2 strikers who are going to be goal scorers for us next season, which is a little bit planning ahead, but we're at a situation now where we've got a little bit of a gap on the teams behind. I don't think we're going to be caught, if I'm honest, and so it's kind of getting that 5-year plan into action now. I talked about it in the very first episode. The 5-year plan was to get promoted this year, and try and spend minimum amount of money and try and recoup as much money as I could, which is something that we did. And I mean, if I just show you the league table here, we're 10 points clear at the halfway stage, which is looking very good for us, but obviously still a lot of football left to be played. But anyway, on the back of that 5-0 win, as I said, I thought, yes, this is the time for us to gain momentum. However, we lost to Tokyo Metro Phillies 2-1. Disappointing performance here. They weren't the better team. We were the better team. They were second in the league at the time of this match, so it was kind of a must-win game at the time. However, since this game, which they won, they've really kind of slipped up, and I think they've dropped down to 8th, and 3 games after this match, on the back of 3 defeats. Their manager was sacked, which seemed pretty unfair, but one of those things, I suppose. But no, we played okay here. We had better chances. We just didn't convert, which is disappointing. You can see here their first goal, Takahara breaking through. Mistake by our defence and a little bit of sluggishness on our behalf, getting caught on the counter-attack with a high defensive line. And again, very much the same, Suzuki this time breaking, and we were just slow getting back, and it's something that I might have to look to rectify, is a bit of pace in the defence, because we have conceded a fair few goals, just in all competitions in general. But nevertheless, 2-1 wasn't the worst result. Those were their 2 goals. But ours was nothing special, so I'm not even going to bother showing you guys it. And then fortunately for us, we needed to bounce back, and I talked about how I thought that 5-0 was going to do it. As things turned out, it didn't really kind of transpire like that with the 2-1 defeat. However, we did go on to get some really good results. So this was a great one. Johnny getting 2 goals. On the back of last episode, I turned off the corners to near post because I felt like someone was going to accuse me of cheating, exploiting some kind of glitch or whatever. I turned it off, and Johnny still managed to grab 2 goals. So I think it's actually more that the kind of the centre backs and the outfield players in Asia just aren't very good at heading, and Johnny is a beast in the air with 14 jumping and 14 heading. That's kind of my assumption, I suppose. But nevertheless, 3-1 was a good away win. Johnny getting the Man of the Match award, Usami performing well as well. They did have a man sent off, which did make it a little easier for us. However, in truth, the game was always in our control. Anyway, 3 more games to tell you guys about. FC Gifu away was the next result. Another win, standard stuff, 5 shots on target, 11 shots in total. A game that we played well in. That said, keeper getting man of the match tells you a lot about his role. Gifu had a few very good chances in this game, and Valafi, the Australian under-21 international, did a great job. And as you can see here, really improving this guy, so hopefully he can continue that. So yeah, that was a good 2-0 win, and then we got a 1-0 win, again keeping the clean sheet, not the most convincing scoreline in terms of goals, the goal coming very late on for us, but nevertheless, Iwashita getting the goal for us, from a set piece as well, Johnny flicking it on, and Iwashita was there to just bury it, so that was a good goal. In a game that we did deserve to win, so it was good to get the result, because sometimes, as you've seen, those games where you do dominate, they don't always go your way. So that was a good little win. And then we got a 2-1 win against Fukuyama United. This time we came back from behind. Great kind of show of character, I guess, by our side. No one really turned up for us this game. They were probably the better team in terms of stats. They worked hard as a team, especially in the middle of the park, you can see here. But we had them pinned in their area for a long period of the game. And we did pretty well. So, 2-1 was a good way to cap things off. Just looking at the league, obviously this is now the halfway stage, but as you can see, 2 draws, 3 losses, 16 wins, pretty standard stuff, what I was kind of hoping for, I suppose. In terms of our defensive record, one of the best in the league. One thing about this league I've noticed is there's so many goals in it. The amount of teams that have averaged 2 or more goals a game, there's 8 teams who have scored more than 40 already, which is pretty crazy for a league of this size. That's sort of 2 goals a game per team. And it kind of shows because everyone's just scoring a lot against each other. Because we've played so well, though, in terms of getting big wins at times, our goal differential lies at plus 37, which is going to be great for us going forward. And hopefully we can just maintain that in the second half of this season. Maybe go on to get 100 plus goals, which we're on course to do. And maybe even 100 points, although I think that's going to be pretty tough. So anyway, that's that. Just a quick look at the transfer centre. There's no one... actually, no, there is someone to tell you guys about now I think about it. We have here Furukawa. This guy, very young, 17-year-old striker. Exciting talent. Good raw potential ability, this player. Could improve a lot in the future. I signed him from Nacional in Uruguay. His contract expired, so that was a really good little free transfer, I think, to get this Japanese guy in. Just doing my standard stuff where I browse nations for hours looking for players. Obviously, because of the foreign player cap, I've been particularly hunting for Japanese players, so to find this guy was a good little signing. And at 17, plenty of ability, natural ability in the air as well, which is kind of useful, and he can certainly improve in the future, so he's a good little signing. In terms of the team's top performers, looking at average ratings, Johnny is the top player at the moment with 12 goals in 24 games from a centre-back. As I said, I've turned off the corner thing now because I haven't uploaded the last episode where I talked about it yet to my channel, but I know that there's going to be someone complain. So I've changed that up, and he's still top goal scorer at the moment, which is a little bit crazy, but a 7.83 average rating tells you a lot. Other than him, Escudero, the winger who came in from South, or £500,000, has done well for us so far this year. In the league, 8 goals, 7 assists, 17 appearances, looking like money well spent there. And his kind of partner on the left-hand side, Usami, also performing very well and improving a lot as well, which is good. The former Bayern loanee, turned 20 now, but still a fantastic talent. Iwashita as well, another centre-back. This is the thing, both my centre-backs in Johnny and Iwashita have really kind of turned up and started playing well. So they've got a little bit of a partnership going, Escudero and Sami on the wings. And then players have just contributed from everywhere, if I'm honest. So this is the shape we've been lining up with, pretty standard 4-3-3. I've used this a few times on this game. I'm going to give you a little squad rundown actually, because I haven't done one of these in a little while. It seems about right that I do one. So in goal we have Tando Falafi, talented Australian goalkeeper, came in from Melbourne Victory for 150k, improved a lot as you can see this season so far. Hopefully that can continue. At left back we have Fujiharu, who started for the most part from left back. Great player, great young talent. Still only 23 years old. Not necessarily the strongest player physically, however his speed and ability to create chances makes him an absolutely great wing back for in this league, and he can put in a tackle when need be. So he's a quality player there. At right back we have Oje Siok, who's okay. This guy doesn't always start. He's had 2 red cards this season. You can see again a very similar vein to Fujiharu in terms of kind of his attributes. Not the strongest player, but can defend and has pace and creativity to get forward and contribute in the attacking phases. At right back we do also have Kaji, who occasionally plays. He's been a useful player here. Japanese international, went to the World Cup with Japan in 2004 when they hosted it and finished 3rd. Quality player. And he can sometimes fill in there. At centre back we have Johnny and Iwashita, who I've already covered. At centre defensive mid we have Yuzuki Kono, or Yasuki. We'll go with it. These Japanese pronunciations. One day, someone from Japan or who has lived in Japan or something to do with Japan is going to watch back these videos and cry at how I pronounce these names. But we're going to run with it. Kono here, experienced player. Very good defensive midfielder, 29, a real leading light, playing from deep, quality, well-rounded off player. Not the most creative, but he does what he needs to in terms of sticking in a tackle, working hard for the ball, and kind of cutting out passes from the centre defensive mid position. At centre mid, we also have Takei here, who plays slightly ahead of Kono. This guy, quality little centre mid. Do have other options on the bench in that area. Maijin is a player who has occasionally played there as well. Both those players and both these players are fairly similar. Maijin's 34 though, so I am trying to kind of weed out a reliance, I suppose, on me to have him in the squad, if that makes sense. I don't want to be playing him every week because he's not going to be here forever, and I think Takai, whilst he's not necessarily the youngest player, he's got a potential ability to really fulfil that role. In the more kind of advantageous, I suppose, of the central midfield positions, we have here Paulinho, quality Brazilian centre mid. Good stats all round, great for attacking, great for pushing forward, and with the 2 kind of slightly more defensive orientated central midfielders, this guy has free roam to really push up the field, and he definitely does a job from there. Great creative player who contributes a lot in kind of different phases of plays. I mean, you can see here 7 goals and 6 assists from centre mid. Isn't too bad a kind of return, I suppose, for a central midfielder. We have here Usami on the left. Obviously, you guys know who this guy is. Young left winger, was here when I came to the club. Former Bayern loanee, plenty of potential. On the right, we have Sergio Escudero, who is the Japanese under-21 player who I signed from South for £500,000 this year. His value's doubled from what I paid for him, which is great news. Really looking like a worthwhile investment. 8 goals and 7 assists for him in 17 in the league. And then up front we have AD Rocker, who is a good player, but I'm trying to get rid of him just because There's better alternatives who I'm eyeing up, who I'm not going to go into too much detail about because I don't want to mention them and then not sign them. But this guy's a good centre forward, but he fills up one of my foreign player slots, kind of in my squad. You're allowed 3 foreign players from outside of Asia and 2 foreign players who are from Asia. So obviously any country within Asia. But this guy fills up one of those roles, and he's just not the best player. 5 goals in 14. I'd love to get in a bit more of a goal scorer, or at least give some other players a run out. You'll notice when you look at the squad, there are a little bits of unhappiness, and that's something I'd like to rectify, as I've already mentioned, by just rotating the squad. And so there might be times when Rocker doesn't get to play, and who knows, maybe a new goal scorer will emerge. But anyway, just one final look at the league table. You can see here that we're 10 points clear, halfway mark in the season. We're doing well. Looking at player stats, I don't think we have a top goal scorer. No, we don't. I'm right about that. But the goals have been kind of evenly shared. Usami, top of the assists. We also have 2 players featuring on the red cards, which isn't great. But in games won, we dominate that area. And Johnny has a highest average rating, or second highest average rating in the league, and also the 3rd most amount of man of the matches, which isn't too shabby if I might not say so myself. That didn't even make sense. But anyway, guys, that does wrap things up for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Good results so far, looking good for the promotion. We've just got to maintain this level of performance in the second half of the season. Hopefully we can do that. Let me know what you made of the video. Let me know, guys, who your favourite player at the moment in this save is. I know everyone develops personal favourites, even though you might not admit it openly when confronted by your family members or loved ones. What the hell, Jack, have you just said? I don't even know. Guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. As I said, let me know who your favourite player is. Give the video a cheeky like if you did enjoy. And other than that, guys, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.